Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another concert review. This particular one has to do with the show that I saw last Saturday night, this past Saturday, in Albany, New York at the Palace Theater. Of course, this was Judas Priest and Uriah Heep. A really good show. Really good show. So for this leg of the tour, Priest is playing slightly smaller places, so if you had gone to see them last year in 2018, whether earlier in the winter or during their summer leg of the tour, they were playing either larger open-air places or pretty large venues, you know, kind of like hockey, basketball arenas, that type of thing. So now they've kind of gone down a little bit more. So rather than the big, huge arenas, they're playing kind of like the mid-sized venues, which, you know what, is really good for this type of show, I thought. Because A, they brought in a great opener in Uriah Heep, who of course been around for 50 years and have a ton of great songs, and I think it's great to see Heep here in the U.S. in some of these larger places again. But secondly, I think with kind of Priest's stage show and the light show, I think it works really well in a slightly more intimate setting like this. So, and I've been to the Palace Theater in Albany, New York numerous times, so this was actually a great idea, and it turned out really nice. So they played two shows. They played Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th, so I had a ticket for the 19th, which was, like I said, a really good show. I was sitting up in the balcony, but no matter where you sit in the Palace, you have a great view of the stage, and the acoustics are very good. And I was center stage, so it was really nice. So Heep comes out at 7:30 on the dot. They played 9 tunes, a very good set. And if you're like me, who had seen Heep headline last year in 2018, you got a bunch of the same tunes they played in that set. Of course, it was a headline set, so you got a lot more. But more importantly, they threw a couple like really cool nuggets from the past into their set list for this show. And it changes by night by a song or two, which I found out from the band later on. I spent some time back in the dressing room with them. Great bunch of guys, by the way. And so they kicked off with Grazed by Heaven off the new album, Dynamite. A fantastic opener. A fantastic song from a fantastic album, and I think it's, from here on in, I think it's going to be a staple of the Uriah Heep set list and their live repertoire. It's got to be. It's just so good. Then they ripped into Too Scared to Run off the Abominog album, because I think the band really tried to play material from all of their eras, right? And if you're going to pick an 80s album, why not pick Abominog, which kind of practically kicked off the whole decade for them and really got them going with like the next leg of their career. And personally, I hadn't seen them play the Too Scared to Run song since, God, I believe it was the Head First tour with Blue Oyster Cult way back in whatever that was, 83 or something like that. So that was really good. And it was pretty clear that a lot of people in the audience remembered that song. Because again, you got to think that a lot of like those classic Judas Priest fans really were listening to hard rock and metal music in those kind of late 70s, early mid-80s period, right? And Heep's Abominog album was pretty notable at the time. So I think a lot of like those old school fans remembered those old Heep tunes. So Too Scared to Run went down really well. Then you had Take Away My Soul, another great song from the brand new album, okay? And after that, went back to the 70s for a classic, and Stealin', which got everybody singing along, all right? And then the tune number 5 that they played was a 90s tune called Between Two Worlds, which was also really great to hear. And I'm trying to think if I've ever seen the band play that live. Don't know if I have. They may have done it back in like, God, what was that, 2007 or 8 when I saw them. But I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And then from there on in, excuse me, it was all old classics from the 70s. So then you had, of course, Gypsy. Can't be a Uriah Heep show without Gypsy. Heavy rocking. People were totally into it. Got between Phil Lanzon's keyboards and Mick Box's guitar riffs. Just heavy stuff. Then the classic Look at Yourself, which was extended, allowed for some jamming and stuff. Pretty cool. Then you had a nice surprise Sunrise. Went over really well. And then, of course, they closed it with Easy Living. Which you have to do. That's your typical Heep closer right there, right? Everybody knows that tune. All in all, the band were on fire. They sounded great. Bernie Shaw, what a great vocalist he is. He has been the singer of Uriah Heep now for over 30 years, and he's just spot on all the time. Like I said, Phil Lanzon's keyboards and Hammond organ, great. Davey Rimmer on bass. My good friend Davey. He's a solid bass player, and he's just such a great showman. He's bouncing all over the stage. Every now and then they give him some room to do a little soloing and stuff like that. A great bass player. One of the few left-handed hard rock or metal bass players that you got out there, which is kind of cool. And then you got Russell Gilbrook on drums, who is a powerhouse. For a little guy, man, he packs a lot of power. All right, and then, of course, there's Mick Box. Consummate professional, the master of the riff, the sizzler of the wah-wah, you know, I mean, what a great player, and a great human being, too. So, a great set from Uriah Heep. They played just about an hour, which is what they said they would. You could tell they would have loved to play more. But I thought, for me, one of the best openers I've seen. You know, I love the band. Let's just get it out there. I love the band. I've seen them many, many times. But as far as Priest picking a perfect opener for them, this was just spot on. Spot on. And Mick, if you're listening, that's the truth. So anyway, how about on to Judas Priest set, why don't we, right? So basically, if you saw Priest in 2018, all right, I saw them on all legs of the tour. I've seen them on all legs of this tour. So the first leg and the second leg were fairly similar, but they switched out a couple songs. So they pulled like nuggets from the past. Excuse me. And some songs they hadn't played in a long time, which is really, really cool if you are a longtime fan. So for this leg of the tour, I'm pretty sure this leg of the tour was specifically for those hardcore fans who have been following them for a long time and know everything, because they pulled out a lot of great nuggets from their discography that they either have never played before or haven't played in ages, that sort of thing. And for me, it was just great. So they came out, played Necromancer, you know, got to do some new tunes, right, from the Firepower album. Necromancer, and then kicked into Heading Out on the Highway. Okay, Heading Out to the Highway is probably the most famous song off the Point of Entry album. That was great. It's a great anthem, right? Then you had the Sentinel, right? How cool is that? Classic 80s stuff. Spectre, Take These Chains. I mean, when was the last time they played Take These Chains, right? From Screaming for Vengeance. Judas Rising, a great song from more recent memory, right? Great comeback song for them. How about Out in the Cold? That was great to hear. I've always loved Out in the Cold. A really good atmospheric rocker. Love that. What else we got? Traitors Gate. Okay, another newer tune. Starbreaker, one of my favorite tunes from the 70s era. That was awesome. Then Steeler. Can't go wrong with that. Halls of Valhalla, more newer stuff. Tyrant. I had a bunch of friends who were there the other night who were like, God, I hope they play Tyrant. I hope they play Tyrant. You got it, right? What else? No Surrender. Victim of Changes. That for me was a highlight because they did not play that at either show I saw last year. And so it's been a while since I've seen Priest play that. That was awesome. Then All Guns Blazing. And they indeed were. And then for your, the encore had to be what it was, right? So you got Hellbent for Leather, Breaking the Law, and Living After Midnight. The band can't get away from playing those three. The one big hit they did not play this night was You Got Another Thing Coming, which I was okay with not hearing. Only so many times you can hear some of these songs, right? But I thought the whole, the encore was what it is, all right? And it's, that's never going to change. But I thought the whole rest of the set was just, like, spectacular. The band sounded awesome. Rob is in fine form. The guitar work of Richie Faulkner, he's a really great player, okay? Andy Sneap, also doing a great job there. The whole band just was great. So all in all, a really great night of metal and heavy hard rock, whatever you want to call Heep. Hard to classify Heep, right? Not quite metal, hard rock definitely, but sometimes they're heavier than hard rock. A lot of prog going on there too. Just great night of music, and I'm happy I was there. So really good to see. It's funny, I was on the fence about going initially when I heard the Priests were going to be doing a third leg, but then as soon as I heard Uriah Heep was going to be on the bill with them, I was like, I got to go. When are you ever going to see Judas Priest and Uriah Heep together on the same stage, right? Had to go. And I'm glad I did because both set lists were spectacular and I got a lot of surprises. The one thing to keep in mind, if you are still on the fence about going to see this tour or maybe have tickets for a tour somewhere down the line, Heep also tweak their set list from night to night slightly. So the second night of this show at the Palace, which I didn't go to, the fans were treated to Rainbow Demon, which is my favorite Heep song of all time. That would have been cool to see. I don't know if I've ever seen them play Rainbow Demon or not. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I have. Maybe I have, but it's been a while. So anyway, that's a little concert review for you. So Uriah Heep and Judas Priest at the Palace Theater, May the 18th, 2019. It was a great show. If you missed it, catch them somewhere else on this tour. You won't regret it. And thanks to the Uriah Heep guys for allowing me to come up and spend some time with you all. Good seeing you all again for the first time in many years. And hope to see you again on the road real soon, guys. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're on the mighty YouTube as often as possible. We got great stuff coming up. All right, tonight, I'm meeting with Craig and George Seibert from Music Musing. We got a couple shows we're recording tonight. A lot of fun stuff coming up. What else? I'm going to try and squeeze in a question and answer show this week. And we got part 3 of my concert experiences coming up, and probably a couple top 10 song shows as well. So there's a lot happening, a lot more next week too. So stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Subscribe. Tell your friends. All right. And we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.